Welcome back to pregame.tv. Brady Kannon and Bryan Leonard here on a Tuesday. The B team with you talking college football. NFL is now on tap, and we'll take a look here at the Dallas Cowboys, 0-1 on the season, traveling to Nashville, Tennessee to take on the Titans, who are 1-0 coming off of an impressive victory over the Kansas City Chiefs. We're going to look at the total in this game, which is currently right around 49.5 or 50. The Titans were very impressive in a relatively low-scoring game against Kansas City. Dallas pretty ugly with a lot of turnovers in the first half against the San Francisco 49ers in their home opener. This will be their first one on the road, and I got to feel, Bryan, that they're probably a little bit happy to get out of Dallas this week.
Yeah. The old saying, get the hell out of Dallas. Well, they actually want to here. This is going to be one of those teams that's not going to take a lot of money from the general public here,
right,
as bad as Dallas looked in a nationally televised game. The defense actually looked pretty well in that game. Either that or San Francisco continued to struggle offensively.
Right.
The 49ers in the preseason had a hard time putting points on the board. And if you look at the beginning of that game, it was all the defense scoring for San Francisco.
Right, yeah, they were forcing turnovers. I think Tony Romo was just trying to do too much. I think he's probably aware. He's listening to the critics that, Dallas is supposed to have the worst defense in the universe this year. And it looked like he was trying to fit the ball in tight windows and carry the entire team on his shoulders, and he got into trouble with the interceptions, and it was over early in Dallas. But you're right, the San Francisco offense, it's not like they went out and took it to Dallas. It was more the Dallas mistakes.
Yeah, in the pregame.com forums, there were people in there saying how bad that Tony Romo is, and what are they going to do? They don't have anybody else to put in there.
Yeah.
I mean, we've seen that before, and you're right. He knows that he has to be perfect for them to win.
Right.
I think just about everybody I talked to, the bets for a living and bets season wins, all had Dallas under. In fact, it was going under. I believe the closing number was under 8 minus 240 at one point. So they didn't have a lot of people that were really high on Dallas this year because of the defense is so bad.
And I'm surprised they hung an 8 on this team.
I was too.
You would think it would be almost like a 6.5 or a 7 even. Because, and I haven't looked at their schedule, through and throughout, but even their owner, Jerry Jones, knows that he doesn't have high expectations for this team either.
Yeah, the only thing I could figure out was their division is so weak.
Yeah.
Other than Philadelphia, who to me is a 9-win team, maybe 10.
I mean, are they the winner of the NFC East by default?
By default, yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
And I think they're a pretty good team. They ran into some trouble last week early, but pulled it out. That's a sign of a good team. Play lousy and still win.
Yep.
And they got the cover.
They did get the cover, and there's a lot of people weren't happy about that. And 17-yard fumble recovery with a minute and a half to go.
And I talked about this. When we won the Hilton contest in 2011, it's those, the way the ball bounces, the way the cookie crumbles in the last minute and a half of a ball game, they all have to go your way. And in 2011, they did. Well, and this week, we were on Philadelphia, and I was just shaking my head saying, unbelievable, we got to bounce again like that. But you need those. You can do your 60%, your 62%, or whatever it is, but to win that contest, you have to have some bounces like that.
Yeah, our friend Steve Fezzik, who also does videos on Tuesday, one of his favorite sayings about the NFL is it's like Plinko. 1 minute you're winning, next minute you're losing, and especially at the end of the games, 6 minutes to go, you got a winner. 5 minutes to go, no, you're losing, and it just bounces back and forth, and whatever slot it ends in, that's where you're winner, you lose.
You don't get too many games versus the spread where it's over until about the last 4 or 5 minutes of the game, if not the last couple minutes of the game.
Yeah, there was a few games this week that we thought were going to be that way. The Jacksonville game, the Pittsburgh game.
Yep.
In fact, Cincinnati was winning 15-0, and all of a sudden, Baltimore's
absolutely.
back in the game.
It's the NFL.
It's the NFL.
And it's the odds makers. It just comes back down to that number eventually. The Colts and the Broncos.
Yep.
The Broncos run out to a lead, and pretty soon, here it comes, and the Colts cover. You ready to make this one official?
Let's do it.
All right, the Dallas Cowboys traveling to Nashville to visit the Tennessee Titans. Dallas 0-1 on the year. The Titans 1-0. We're going to take a look at the total here. I have seen it at 50, so I'm going to go under the 50 here in this game. Interesting to note, the Titans last year were 6-2 to the over, but I believe that that's got to come back down. Naturally, just regressing to the mean and also the adjustment of the market. But also, Ken Whisenhunt steps in here as the new head coach, and he showed his prowess for defense in that game against Kansas City, only giving up 10 points, 7 in the fourth quarter when it was basically garbage time. He also held Alex Smith to the lowest quarterback rating in week 1 of the entire NFL. The Cowboys, of course, that we talked about, they're being knocked for their defense, but truly it was about the turnovers. In the second half of this game, San Francisco did not score a single point. And I know you can make a case for the fact that San Francisco kind of shut it down. They started to run the ball. They became more conservative. But again, they didn't even get a field goal, and their offense was not that productive. And the Cowboys' defense, I think, was a little bit surprising to people. Again, they did not give up a single point. Also in this game, I think the game plan for the Cowboys will be, Romo, hey, Tony, scale it back a little bit. You don't have to try and win this by yourself. As evidenced, our defense played pretty well in the second half last week. Let's throw some short passes. Let's keep you under control, and let's hand the ball to your buddy DeMarco Murray. On the other hand, the Titans have a very good running attack, a 5-pronged attack, really. Jake Locker at quarterback, and then you've got Sean Green, Bishop Sankey, Dexter McCluster, and even Leon Washington getting involved a little bit. 38 rushes to 33 passes last week against Kansas City. A nice balanced attack, but again, a little bit more focus on the run. I think you'll have Dallas scaling the game plan back a little bit, Tennessee continuing with their good defense and their good run game, and I think this one's going to stay under the total. Also, another thing to look at that we spoke about last week in breaking down Philadelphia and Jacksonville, talked about non-conference affairs going over last season at an alarming rate. All 4 non-conference games in week 1 went under the total. The market has adjusted. I think it's going to continue this week with Dallas and Tennessee. We're going under 50. Makes all the sense in the world, right?
Yeah, I've got nothing on it, so I'll be backing you.
Yeah, no, I think it does. I mean, I think Tennessee is not a prolific, high-profile New Orleans Saints, Philadelphia Eagles offense. Whisenhunt is, he's a tough-nosed, punishing physical guy. He's going to run the ball. He knows Jake Locker is not capable of putting up 50 points a week. I think he's going to play defense and run the ball. And I think it makes sense that Dallas is going to say, look, Tony, settle down. We need to get back to basics here. Yeah,
when you take a look at football in general, if a team turns the ball over a lot, you find that they're more conservative the following week. And when Dallas runs, they can have success. Murray's a terrific running back, Las Vegas native, I believe.
Yeah, Bishop Gorman.
Yep. And if they could just get out and not deal with those turnovers they had last week, I could definitely see this being a lower scoring game.
We will see. That's it for the Tuesday B Team. Bryan Leonard and Brady Kannon will be back next week to take a look at more college and pro football. Keep it here. It's pregame.tv.